All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about something fascinating. Why our lives today feel so stressful. And here's the kicker. The answer isn't really about your phone or your job. It's actually written deep inside the ancient blueprint of your brain.
I mean, come on. You know that feeling, right? You're just scrolling through your inbox, and suddenly your heart is pounding. You feel this jolt of anxiety. It feels totally out of proportion, doesn't it? It's like this life or death feeling for an email. Logically, it just makes no sense.
And it's not just that one moment. It's this constant, low-level hum of pressure that never seems to turn off. That feeling of always being behind, always on alert, and just completely drained by it all. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are definitely not alone. This is pretty much the signature of modern stress.
Okay, so to really get what's happening here, we have to take a trip way back in time. Because this whole system that's causing us so much anxiety today, well, it wasn't designed to be a weakness. It was actually designed to be our greatest strength.
This idea just changes everything, doesn't it? We're so used to thinking of stress as this awful thing, the enemy, something we've got to get rid of. But what if? What if it's actually a powerful, finely tuned survival tool that we're just, using completely wrong?
So this is the core of it all, biologically speaking, the fight or flight response. You can think of it as your body's built-in, high-alert alarm system. When your brain thinks there's a serious threat out there, it yanks that fire alarm, flooding your body with hormones, and basically gets you ready to either fight for your life or run like crazy. And just look at how brilliant this little circuit is. First, a threat shows up. Let's stick with that saber-toothed tiger. Bam! The response kicks in instantly. Adrenaline surges, your senses get sharper, you're ready for action. You survive, the tiger's gone, and then, and this is the most important part, the system resets. Everything goes back to normal. Calm is restored. So, how did this perfect survival tool become our modern problem? Well, this is where it all gets messy. This is where our ancient wiring comes into a head-on collision with our 21st century world. See, the threats have changed completely, but our response system, it hasn't changed one bit. And this right here, this is the absolute heart of the problem. Our bodies were built for Paleolithic threats, right? A physical danger, it's intense, it's right in your face, and then it's over, fast. But what do we live with? Modern threats, a project deadline, worrying about money, the pressure of social media. These things are psychological, they're chronic, and you can't just fight them or run away from them.
And here's the craziest part. That ancient alarm system in your brain, it can't tell the difference. It just doesn't have a setting for super annoying but not actually gonna eat me. So, to your biology, a stressful meeting at work, a big argument, or a pile of bills can trigger the exact same red alert, fight or flight panic as a predator standing right in front of you. So what happens when that fire alarm is getting pulled for every little thing all day long, and most importantly, it never ever gets switched off? What's the real, physical cost of living in a constant state of emergency? Well, this is the hard truth. A system that was designed for these short, life-saving bursts becomes destructive when it's just on all the time. It's kind of like redlining the engine in your car and just never taking your foot off the gas. Sooner or later, that engine's just gonna burn out.
And look, this isn't some abstract idea. It shows up in very real physical ways. Your immune system gets weaker. Why? Because your body is busy diverting all its energy to fight threats that aren't actually there. Your blood pressure stays high, your digestion gets all messed up. It can even impair your memory. And eventually, you just hit a wall, burnout. The whole system is just completely overloaded.
Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it sounds pretty big, but here's the thing. Just understanding the why behind all this is incredibly empowering. It lets us stop blaming ourselves and start figuring out how to work with our own biology, not against it.
I really want you to let this one sink in. If you feel overwhelmed by all this modern stress, it does not mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you have a perfectly functioning, ancient survival system that is not designed for the world it's living in today. It's an evolutionary mismatch. It's not a personal flaw.
So, this is the mental tool we can start to use, the Paleolithic blueprint. The next time you feel that spike of anxiety over a work email, you can actually recognize it for what it is. You can almost say to yourself, there it is. That's my inner alarm system thinking it just spotted a tiger. Just having that understanding, it gives you the power to create a little space between the feeling and the reality of the threat.
And that really leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought, doesn't it? We can't just rewire millions of years of evolution in a day. So if our basic programming is more or less fixed, then maybe the real question isn't how do we fix ourselves, but instead, how can we start to design a world, a workday, a life that actually aligns better with this ancient blueprint we all share? What do you think?